Welcome to Chopstick Travel. I'm Luke Martin, and today I'm in the Sigiriya area of central Sri Lanka. This is episode 2 of our 3-part series exploring the life and food of the Sri Lankan fishermen. So we're in central Sri Lanka, far away from any coast, and we are going to be doing our fishing, therefore, on a lake today. So I'm actually standing in the lake right now. We're going to be getting on the boat with the fishermen and seeing how they catch and then prepare the fish here in central Sri Lanka. It's going to be a great episode, so make sure you stay tuned until the end. Let's go catch some fish. We do have to be a little bit careful because Sri Lanka is a very wild place. There are crocodiles in these waters, but apparently they're more active at night, so we should be fine. But also elephants. There are tons and tons of elephants in this area, and you definitely don't want to stumble upon one of those guys. Okay, so we're on the boat now. They've actually laid out a net last night in the evening, and then they've come back this morning to pull up the net. One of the fishermen is on a little inflatable tube, and he's gonna pull up the net now, and hopefully they've got some fish in there. Okay, we've got our first fish already. They call, the local name is called lula. It's sort of like a spotted fish, pretty decent size. It's a pretty effective method. Here he is right here, just floating in an inner tube and pulling up the net. Really cool. And we've got our second fish already. This time it's a tilapia, and it seems like this is quite an effective method. If you didn't watch our previous episode in the north, they were also using a net style fishing in the Indian Ocean. So it seems as though net is definitely the way to go. If you are surviving off of what you're going to catch, you're not going to be line fishing. You're going to be using the net. It's just so much more effective. And although it might not be as sustainable as line caught fish, for fishermen like this man here, this is the definite best way of getting a good harvest every day. I was just saying how surprised I was at how productive the lake here is with tilapia. I mean, we've been pulling them up constantly, but apparently this is the time of year where the water's a little bit high. They actually don't catch as much as they usually catch. Sometimes they'll catch 10 kgs or more just from one net. So he's nearly finished with this net, and apparently he's got another net which is designed to catch larger size fish. So we're gonna go over to that net next and see if they've got anything bigger. The fact that he's on an inner tube is hilarious. It looks like he's just splashing around having fun out here, but he's not. He's actually out here fishing, and it is seriously effective. We've already caught a ton of tilapia. You'll notice some parts of the net have a big hole in it, and that's because there was a fish in there, but then a crocodile took that fish and tore the net all to shreds last night. So this is risky business, floating around in an inner tube, fishing in crocodile-infested waters, but he is fearless. We've got tons of fish, plenty for our lunch, so we're gonna head back to shore now. So we're back on shore. We've just come to the fisherman's little hut here, and he's just cleaning up a couple of the tilapia that we caught. We're gonna take those to a nearby home and hotel to cook into a traditional Sri Lankan curry, lake fish curry. That was such an incredible experience to see how they caught the fish, and I think even though they said it's not the season, I think their catch was still pretty good today. Besides fishing for income, he also has a small farm here, and you can see up in the tree, he's got this tree house, which is for watching for the elephants, because the elephants can easily come and destroy your crops. And you can see just very simple life. He's got, this is actually a light, so it's like a fuel, little flask full of fuel. And then this over here is for scaring away the birds so they don't eat the crops. So friendly and humble. He even picked some lotus flowers as a gift for Mink. So we've got our fish, they're all cleaned up and chopped up. We're gonna take it over to the home now to be cooked into our lunch. So the ladies here are going to be preparing several different dishes, but also of course the lake fish that we just caught. They've got all the ingredients laying out and cooking in this little kind of hut here, and they just cracked open a coconut, gave me some coconut water for a little refreshment after our fishing trip. Oh, so sweet. Oh, it's naturally so sweet. Coconuts here in Sri Lanka are incredible and a staple of the cuisine too. So the first dish that the ladies are preparing is a roti, so an unleavened flat bread using different types of base. So we've got this one here, which is with a finger millet, and it's made with the shredded coconut as well. We're also going to make ones out of like rice flour and corn flour and all kinds of different bases, and then just cooking it right on the wood fire and just kind of fry it up. First she puts it on a banana leaf so it doesn't kind of crumble apart, and then once it's cooked a little bit, she puts it flat onto the frying pan. So the rotis are cooking away, and one of the other ladies in the meantime just started to prepare pol sambal, which is a Sri Lankan condiment which goes with pretty much any dish here in Sri Lanka. It's simple, it's just chili, salt, and coconut, a little bit of lime, and a tiny bit of onions, and then she's grinded it down using this stone grinder. You can see that nearly everything, including the condiments and the dishes, use coconut, either in the shredded form or in the milk form. Coconut is in everything here in Sri Lanka. So this is the final result of the pol sambal. We try a little bit of it. Freshly grinded. Oh my gosh, yum. It's a little sour, coconutty, a little bit spicy. There's a ton of flavor in there. Oh my gosh, I could just eat that like that. It's so good. So the rotis are finished cooking, and they just started to prepare the fish curry using, of course, our fresh lake fish that we just caught this morning. So they started with a base of garlic and onions, fried, sauteed in a little bit of coconut oil, and then some pandan leaves and some curry leaves, and then added a ton of spice to that fish. And then the fish goes in, and a little bit of something similar to tamarind, souring agent, and then also of course some Ceylon cinnamon. You gotta have the cinnamon here in Sri Lanka. We've also got a pumpkin curry going too. This just smells and looks so good. I can't wait to try it. All of the food has been finished preparing. We have so many different dishes here. This looks amazing. This is all the different types of roti that we cooked up. So there's the corn flour roti, the millet roti, rice flour. This one's got like different veggies in it. And then starting over here, we've got our pol sambal, the condiment. This is some greens. We've got some cassava And this is the main dish here, the fish curry, beautiful fish curry. And then we've got a pumpkin curry back here, which looks incredible. Just look at how creamy that pumpkin looks. All to be eaten with the roti. And then finally, this is a mushroom curry. And I've got also a bowl here to just kind of wash my hands off because we're gonna be eating with our hands. This looks so good, let's dig in. Okay, I've made up my plate here and it's served on a lotus leaf, which is just so cool, it's so traditional. I'm gonna grab some of this roti here and I gotta go in right away and try the fish curry, the lake fish curry, fresh tilapia that we caught this morning. Let's try that. Yum. The roti is really nice, but it's got a nice kind of crunch to it, a kind of charred, burnt part on the bottom. And that fish, so tender. Actually, the flavor is not like a super strong curry, like it's not overpowering. It's like a light coconut flavor with spices in there, but not spicy. Man, that just melts in your mouth. That fish is super, super tender. I love pumpkin, and this looks incredible. I'm gonna grab a piece of pumpkin and a little bit of the pole sambal, the coconut chili sambal. Oh my gosh, yes. Pole sambal might be the greatest Sri Lankan invention ever. It's so flavorful. It's sour, it's sweet from the coconut, it's spicy from that chili, and it's almost got a little smokiness to it too. And that pumpkin, just so creamy, melts in your mouth once again. It's almost got the same texture as the fish actually. Okay, let's try the mushroom next, but I gotta just load it up with that pole sambal. That's my favorite thing here in Sri Lanka for sure. Wow, the mushrooms still got a nice crunch to them. They've got a similar flavor as the fish, the mushrooms do. That sambal, that pole sambal is so, so good. Oh my gosh, it makes everything taste amazing. Okay, I've got another type of roti. This is the finger millet roti. Let's try it with some sambal and the greens. That roti's got a different texture to it. It's more crumbly, kind of just falls apart in your mouth. And everything is just so fresh tasting, so healthy tasting, and full of flavor. All organic. It just feels really good to eat. You just feel good eating it. Everything tastes so fresh, and knowing that we caught the fish from the lake, which is just, I don't know, 300 meters down the road from here, it just makes it taste even better knowing how fresh it is. What an experience, and what delicious food this is. Awesome.
Actually, I think I never tried pumpkin in a curry version before. This one is really, really delicious, and I love it. Especially when you eat the pumpkin curry with that coconut sambal. Spice like hits me, and I'm a spicy lover, so I love it.
I gotta give it up for that pumpkin curry. It's so good. But I mean, the lake fish, everything's delicious, and with the roti, it's awesome. It's nice to have the different curries with the roti instead of rice. Kind of change things up here in Sri Lanka. Pumpkin, #1 for me. Fish, #2 though. So good. That was an incredible meal. We've got dessert now. This is a local Sri Lankan dessert made of sago. So it's made with jaggery and sago, and also some raisins on top there. Just put it in my little bowl. I love these little clay pots here in Sri Lanka. It's so cool. And this is very traditional dessert for a very traditional meal. They're like little tapioca pearls, or kind of like little mini bobas. And a little bit sweet, and also they've got coconut in there as well. So coconut in not only the savory dishes, but also the sweet dishes here in Sri Lanka. What a meal, what a way to end the meal. But I want to show you guys the hotel that we're staying at here in Sigiriya. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take you there, show you the room we're staying at, and then later this evening we're going to have another meal at the hotel, but something really unique. You're going to want to see this. So this is Aliya Resort and Spa. We're staying in one of their suites. It has a beautiful private pool and this incredible garden, which you can see all kinds of wildlife. We even saw a peacock spreading its feathers and doing a little bit of a dance here last night. And our room is nice and spacious, very modern, incredible amenities. There's also a sauna in our room. Private pool, but you don't even really need it because they have one of the most incredibly beautiful pools for everybody at their resort, with a beautiful view over Sigiriya Rock, massive pool. And we're going to be having dinner here tonight at their restaurant, which is a very local, authentic restaurant. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, freshen up, and then catch back up with you tonight for dinner. So one of the many restaurants here at the Aliya Resort is called Nagula, which translates to plow. So they call it plow because it's surrounded by rice paddies. They've got a little museum which shows the old wooden plows which were towed behind a couple of buffalo. And they've got it set up like a little Sri Lankan village in this kind of mud hut. And they're going to be cooking several different dishes for us. The first dish they're going to be cooking is a dal curry, and the second is a prawn curry.
Thank you.
Taste test.
Wow. It's delicious.
So the first dish she is preparing is the dal, so lentil curry, and of course using wood fire and a clay pot. She started with some coconut oil, sautés some garlic and onions, and then adds in all those lentils, and then tons of coconut milk too. Coconut milk in nearly everything here in Sri Lanka. Then add some spice, some chili, some turmeric, fenugreek, salt, and then some herbs like pandan, and then finally a big handful of spinach, and kind of mixes that all around, lets those lentils cook down, and lets that coconut milk get super rich and creamy. Next dish is the prawn curry. So starts with some coconut oil once again, and then some mustard seeds, and kind of lets them cook away until they stop crackling. Add a little bit of garlic, some curry leaves, some pandan leaves, some onions, and I think the prawns are in next. After the prawns go in, some spices, once again, red chili, a little bit of turmeric, and another super important ingredient here in Sri Lanka is the cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon. If you're not having Ceylon cinnamon, you're not really having cinnamon. This is the real deal stuff. You only need a little bit because it's got a lot of flavor to it. So some more herbs in there, and I think we're gonna add some coconut milk and let that boil down, and that's the prawn curry. All right, we've got more than just those two dishes that they've already prepared ahead of time, and it's time to sit down at this beautiful restaurant here, Nagula, for our dinner. We just have the most wild spread of Sri Lankan food. This is how normally it's going to be served to you here in Sri Lanka, with an abundance of variety, and you sort of just grab rice and then add all the different dishes onto your plate. So let's make up a plate. So any Sri Lankan meal, you gotta have the rice, of course, and this restaurant is situated right beside the rice paddies, which is absolutely beautiful. So the first dish we've got here is a potato dish. Grab a little bit of that. I just want to grab a little bit of everything because there's so many different dishes. This is really good looking. This is a tuna. It's like a blackened tuna. Just grab one piece of that. Over here is a chicken curry. So much flavor in all of these, and all that coconut milk as well. Here is the beautiful prawn curry that we watched her prepare fresh. Like I said, just going to grab a little bit of everything because there's so many different dishes. This one is dried fish. Looks like little anchovies. And then this one is a root, type of root vegetable, curried root vegetable. Here is another, like a leaf with grated coconut. This is a pork curry. Tons of different things. So many vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. Here's the dal. Grab that and look at how beautiful that plate is. And that's not it. We've still got one more. This is a banana blossom cutlet. Super unique. And then papadum, the little fried cracker. Beautiful spread of food. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Let's sit down and eat. So typically you're gonna eat this with your hands here in Sri Lanka, but we are at a 5-star resort. Even though it looks like we're in a Sri Lankan village, I'm gonna use my cutlery here and I'm gonna start with the prawn curry that she just cooked up fresh. Yum. Really plump prawn. It's got a nice bounciness to it and a hint of spice. You can taste that coconut milk in there. Yum. Chicken curry next. Yum. Similar taste to the prawn. Very tender chicken. Okay, let's try this big chunk of tuna, blackened tuna. Yum. I wasn't expecting that at all. It's actually quite sour. I think they added quite a bit of tamarind in there. Chase it with a papadum. Some texture, some crunch. Yum. This is the banana blossom cutlet. So deep fried banana blossom. Yum. Really creamy. Yeah, you get that sort of floral flavor to it. Really unique flavor actually. You can taste it. It's not just like a fried cutlet. You can actually taste the banana blossom on the inside. Potato. If you are a vegetarian, Sri Lanka is the place for you. I mean, we've definitely got some meat dishes on our plate, but there are so many different vegetarian dishes here in Sri Lanka. It's just never-ending abundance of vegetarian food, and they just cook it so well, so full of flavor. Like that potato. Yum. Here is the dal, the lentils that she's just cooked up fresh for us. Yeah, that one's one that you can find at pretty much every table in Sri Lanka. Whenever you're having a rice and curry, you're gonna have the dal, the lentils, super creamy coconut milk. You can taste that smoky wood fire she cooked it on too. This is a pork curry. Try it with a little bit of this leaf. It's like a sweet caramelized pork curry, and it's sort of like a jerky pork, kind of lean, chewy, dry tasting. And then you can taste the coconut in those leaves as well. Actually goes really well together. So we're just making our way around the plate. I think this is our last dish. This one's the root vegetable. Let's try this. Crunchy. There's such a variety of flavor too. Even though a lot of it's curried, of course a lot of it has the curry leaves in it and red chili and similar ingredients. You get a completely different flavor palette going around the plate. There's so much different flavor, from sweet, salty, spicy, savory. And then to mix up the texture with the crunchy papadum. What a meal. Out of all the dishes, I gotta give it up for this prawn curry. Maybe it's just because I get to watch the entire process, but it's just so fresh and delicious. The prawns are so bouncy. And this style of eating you're going to find is served for lunch, breakfast, and dinner here in Sri Lanka. You're basically having rice and curry every single day. Maybe it's gonna be substituting the rice for something like the string hoppers, or the egg hoppers, or maybe the pittu or the roti. But for sure you're gonna have a variety of curries, and like I said earlier, a lot of those usually are vegetarian, so you have just such a plethora of different dishes and flavors here in Sri Lanka. It's really such a rich culinary country. Those prawns are awesome.
So this is my first time in Sri Lanka, and I might not be as food expert at what to say, but what I sense and what I feel from the food here is they don't need to use like too many seasoning to cook the food. They just use like salt and pepper and like normal ingredients, but the food tastes really good. And I like that because you can taste like the real taste of like prawns or like each ingredient that they put in the food. And I feel like if you are a curry lover or like vegetarian, Sri Lanka is like best place for you, like dream destination. This is my second plate already because I love curry. Yeah.
The food tastes even better with this incredible view of the fields here in Sri Lanka. It's just so naturally beautiful. This country is incredible. The jungle is so lush and there's so many different species of birds. You can hear the birds. It's very peaceful and calming. What a meal to end another great day here in Sri Lanka, and I love to witness how they're doing the traditional fishing here in the central area of Sri Lanka near Sigiriya. If you didn't check out our first episode in the north of Sri Lanka in Jaffna, you can see how they're doing it slightly different there in the north, and then we'll be continuing south to see how they're doing their fishing down there in the south, and we're going to be experiencing a lot more than just that. So make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified, hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chopstick Travel. Bye.